Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin, and as you can see by the title, we are going to do the new makeup releases in 2020 tag created by Samantha March and Angelica Nyqvist. I'm going to link both their videos down below in the description box. I know I butchered Angelica's name because she is from Sweden, so I just know I messed that up. But anyway, if you are interested in watching me answer those questions that they had in their tag, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I just watched their video today and then was like, I'm going to do my makeup and my hair and I'm going to get my own video out because I really liked the concept of focusing on new releases that have come out in 2020. And you know, now that it's December, the year's sort of ending, like wrapping that up. So the first question, and I'm consulting my notes over here, the first question was the mainstream release that lived up to the hype the most. So I always have such a hard time with questions on these tags that are phrased with like, did it live up to the hype? Did it not live up to the hype? Because I buy eyeshadow palettes like the second that they come out, so I don't really pay attention to if they end up getting hype or not. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's like palettes where people are like really excited to buy them and stuff, so anyways, whatever. But I tried to think and I was like, what mainstream palette lived up to the hype? And I don't purchase, I guess, okay, for my purposes, I'm considering mainstream brands as brands sold in Ulta and Sephora because as a resident of the US, that like we all have access to those for the most part, at least either in person or online. So I feel like those are going to be what we consider mainstream. I know there's some indie brands that are sold at Ulta, same for Sephora, but if they're big enough to be sold at those two retailers, I'm going to consider them mainstream for our purposes. So I thought about this one. This one was pretty hard for me. Actually, all the questions were honestly kind of hard, but the one that I decided on was the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palettes. So in case you're unfamiliar, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's one of their tin palettes that has the like scent. It smells like pumpkin spice. I actually wasn't going to buy this palette. I had the Too Faced Chocolate Bar and the Sweet Peach palettes, and I ended up decluttering both of those. They stuck around in my collection for a while, but I got rid of them relatively recently, and I had decided like I just don't feel like the quality of the Too Faced eyeshadows is really something that like. It's just not a quality that I like. The way that shadow is, you know, formulated, it just doesn't work well with how I do makeup. So anyway, so I've skipped every Too Faced launch since the as far as their eyeshadow palettes go. I've bought some of their other stuff, but I've skipped every eyeshadow palette launch since the Sweet Peach palette. This was the first one, and they almost got me actually with the gingerbread ones, but this was the first one that I really liked the color story. Like, first of all, this shade up here reminded me of my favorite shade from the Sweet Peach palette, so I was the only shade I miss really. And then I just really liked all these warm fall tones. You have these greens, these purples. I just thought I really liked the color story. And then Makeup Just for Fun and Morgan Turner did videos on the palette, and I was like, all right, I'm getting it. So anyways, that was the one that I felt lived up to the hype. Then the next question is indie release that lived up to the hype the most. So indie releases, I'm considering, and I know a lot of brands are technically indie and then they end up bigger brands. So I focus this on like smaller indie brands that you can't get at Ulta or Sephora, so to speak. So there might be a recency bias playing with this, but this is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette. I love this. I feel like this palette is so pretty. Like the textures are so pretty. You can see we've gotten a little messy with it because I've been playing with it lately, but I just think that mattes are really pretty. I really like Lunar Beauty's formula, and I think this is a really good palette. And I feel like the hype, it just came out and not everybody's even received theirs yet, but the hype around it was more like, you know, it's Manny MUA's brand, so I feel like a lot of people were wanting to purchase it. So anyway, it was good quality. I love it. Which release did not live up to the hype? And I feel bad to do this, but the Pure and Raw Beauty Kristi palette, the struggle was real to get this palette in the first place. I was not one of the lucky ones that ordered it initially. I had to wait for the restock, so it took me several months to get this palette, or not several, I think it took like 3, but it felt like forever. And for if you're unfamiliar, so there's it's 18 shades, but on each side you have one neutral side and one colorful side. So I just didn't really jive with the quality. Like, it was okay. And then I didn't love that there was just these two shimmers that were like, one's like, this one's like more of a golden, this one's actually they're both pretty shimmers, but I don't know, as far as creating looks and stuff, it just didn't really, I don't know, I just didn't love it. So I was kind of bummed out. Like, I waited, and part of it might be that the hype built up as I was waiting for this palette, and was like, and then it got there and I'd used it and I was like, okay, like, I don't know. Anyway, so the next question is, what was the biggest curveball? So I don't have this palette in my possession yet. This is another palette that I've ordered and I'm just waiting for the restock on it so that it'll be shipped to me. But that is the Shroud Cosmetics and Butte Bean It's Freakin' Bats palette. If you haven't seen that palette, I don't have it on my person, but go to Shroud Cosmetics website, and I'm sure there's pictures of it on there, or even their Instagram, honestly. But it's like this really pretty, like, purple and teal and green color story. And I feel like this palette was a curveball because it didn't, it's just like a color, like, I don't feel like we have a lot of palettes that are purple and green. You know what I mean? Like there's not, that's a more unique color story. It's a 9-pan palette that's a very curated color story, and it's an interesting color story. So anyways, that was the one that I would say is the biggest curveball. I wanted to also show another palette that I thought of, and this is one that is actually in my possession, but this is the Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette, and kind of a similar thing. Like, it's a green, blue, and purple color story, but you also have these neutrals in here, and I feel like it's just an interesting color story. Like, it's not something that I feel like we've seen a lot. I really like both this color story and the color story and the It's Freakin' Bats. They're sort of like, that one has purples and kind of teals, and so they're kind of similar, but not really. If you look at the two palettes, like, they're totally different. But I really like just that, you know, there was this fun, like, more fresh, new color story. Question number 5. What was the biggest letdown / snooze fest? I had this palette, I tried it, and then I actually decluttered it, but it was the Lime Crime Prelude. I think it's called the Exposed. There was two, and they're 2 6-pan palettes, and I kept the chroma one, the one that was like the burgundy and teal, and that one's really pretty and nice. The Exposed one was like the more pinky, neutrally, I think there's like a gold in there. That one, first of all, I don't know why I bought both, because that color story in general, like, didn't excite me, but I guess I just wanted to try them both out. And then I tried it, and the quality of it was just, like, not good at all. Like, not even on the same level as the Chroma palette. So I really did not like that palette whatsoever. So that one was my biggest letdown. And then just to talk about another palette, which is one that I still kept. I haven't decluttered this one yet, but is the Naked from Urban Decay, the Naked Ultraviolet palette. I really want to like this palette. I was curious about the color story, and I feel like Urban Decay, that like I know a lot of people's criticism was that there's not anything like really that you can go deep with, but I feel like both of these shades actually, when you blend them out, even though they're metallic, they blend out to a nice, you know, finish. So it's not, so I don't think this is the worst palette ever, but I was really excited when I saw pictures of it, or, you know, Urban Decay like announced that they were going to do this purpley one, and so I was like super excited to see what it was going to look like. But it, oh, cool. I don't know how long I had that on my face for. Anyways, but so it's nice, but the quality on it isn't the best, so that's why I'm including that as kind of a letdown. Not a snooze fest. I do like the color story, but it is a letdown. And next question is best holiday release. So technically Eternal Eclipse from Lunar Beauty is a holiday release, and the Melt Beetlejuice is also a holiday release, but there is a holiday, and I think this is a holiday release. I wasn't 100% confident, but I'm gonna claim it as a holiday release because I'm pretty sure it is. And this is the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. I just love this. I know it didn't get like the, oh my gosh. I know it didn't get like, some people like really love it, some people don't. I just think that these shades, I do think they're cool. You know, they're not really a multi-chrome, they're more of a duochrome. I can, in person, see the like the multi-chrome, like that third flip, but it's not like on the eyes. I feel like you just get like the duochrome, but I just really like this palette. I love Natasha Denona's quality. I love the, you know, that she set this up so that you can go like green, purple, and then this more pinky, peachy kind of row. But I think you could also have some really fun, like creative looks with these lighter mattes, and I think that's really nice. So I really like that palette, so I'm gonna say that this is the best holiday release. Best collab. All right, I was not gonna do my girl Raw Beauty Kristi dirty. The best collab is the ColourPop and Raw Beauty Kristi at Forest Sight palette. This is so much better, in my opinion, than the palette she did with Pure. First of all, the packaging is adorable with the mushrooms. Second of all, I love this color story so much more. This also only has 2 mattes, but I just feel like you get more options with this. I don't know. And then if you included the Super Shocks with it too, or did I say 2 mattes? I meant 2 shimmers. But anyway, you get the Super Shocks. You can create more variety with this collection. So this is what I'm going to call the best collab of 2020. So the last question is my predictions for what's going to come out next year. So I actually used the ColourPop and Star Wars The Mandalorian palette on my eyes today. I just got this in the mail today. It's so cute. But anyway, this is my 2 guesses are related to this. First of all, I think there's going to be more of these like 9-pan or smaller, you know, more curated like tiny palettes, like Kaleidos does the 6-pan palettes. ColourPop obviously does the 9. I think more brands are going to continue with these mini palettes. You know, Huda's been doing them. I'm trying to think of who else. But anyway, I think everybody's going to continue launching these more small curated color palettes or stories, just because I think that's what a lot of people are liking. We're not really as into the giant palettes anymore. And then I also think collabs with like movies, TV shows, things like that. The Melt Beetlejuice collection was a hit. I think a lot of people were really excited about this. Even people who like me personally, I don't watch this. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Trek fan. But anyway, this is adorable and I wanted it anyway, just because he's so cute. But I think even for some people who didn't like Beetlejuice, they liked the packaging, and so they wanted to get that collection for the same reason. So I think we're going to see more of that as well. And yeah, that was it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment letting me know if you agreed with any of these opinions, if you disagreed, or what your answers were to these questions. I'm really curious, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!